welcome back to YouTube to my channel. If you're new to my channel right now, I'm AspieAnswersAll. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness. This is basically just sharing my life stories with this vicious syndrome and the lack of other pre-diagnosis conditions that you may encounter along the way. And I'm hoping while I'm taking you all on a journey with my life stories, this is just creating mental health and awareness of every other day topics that I feel close to my heart to share with you all, that I can be a mentor and advocate of support to you in any way in a non-judging way. So no further ado, guys, before I was talking about in part 6, episode 2 was just basically just central auditory processing disorders. Basically what happens is here is obviously there has been recent signs and symptoms for the adults as well as children that are maybe clinically the same, even though also for the sake of the causes, as I said before, there has been recent debates also there as well as just research now that they're trying to figure out what is the main actual cause from this. But I've only found out that there's only a little bit of that, which I'll share later on in the piece, which will be really short and brief. So no further ado, guys, this is part 7 basically, which is called basically specific language impairment and developmental dyslexia that is maybe related to central auditory processing disorders, or COPD as they abbreviate down to. As we know, basically there has been considerable debate over many decades, however, of the relationship between auditory processing disorders and specific language impairment, or SLI as they abbreviate down to for clinical medical professionals. SLI, as if you want me to abbreviate it down short to make this video short as possible to gain this better understanding, is diagnosed when a child may have difficulties in understanding or processing or even producing, shall we say, spoken languages for no obvious cause or apparent reason. The problems cannot be explained in terms of, however, peripheral hearing loss, even though it has been debated that it could be due to them being hearing impaired or what have you, but it's maybe not that. But the child obviously is typically late in starting to talk and may have problems in producing speech sounds clearly, however. And in result of this, it can also affect in a way of producing or understanding complex sentences later on, maybe in the early mid-teens to adulthood. Some theoretical accounts of CSLI, however, regards it as the result of auditory processing problems. However, this view of SLI isn't universally accepted, however, and others regard the main difficulties in CLI from problems with higher level aspects of language processing, where a child has both auditory and language problems. It can be hard to sort out cause and effect. Similarly, with developmental dyslexia, however, there has been considerable interest in the idea that for some children with reading problems in the downstream consequences of difficulties and rapid auditory processing. Again, the cause and effect can be hard to unravel or hard to actually really know the classic signs to this, however. But again, there has been still clinical research and debates onto this, so bear in mind in this. But maybe there is one reason though why experts such as Moore, as of research, have recommended using non-verbal auditory tests that may be able to help diagnose auditory processing disorders to rule out SLI and the like. It has also been suggested that auditory processing disorders may be related to cluttering, a fluency sort of marked by word and phrase repetitions, however, or another classic one is commonly done with people with APD, or shall we say auditory processing disorders, especially in young children, are assessed using tests that involves basically identifying, repeating, or discriminating speech. Then the child may likely do poorly because of the primary language problems that they may show the classic signs of, as I said before, dyslexia or some other form of learning disability. In a study though, however, that has been done, there has been one comparing children with a diagnosis of dyslexia and those with a diagnosis of auditory processing disorders. They found the two groups couldn't be distinguished, however. So therefore, what I mean here is that they've shown some similar clinical signs and symptoms of each other, however, how it works. Right. Even though it has been obtained by similar findings and research by certain people at this point of time in their studies, comparing children diagnosed with SLI or APD, as I'm going to abbreviate down short, The two groups, however, had very similar profiles and characteristics of each other. This did raise a bit of a worrying or concern possibility that the diagnosis that a child may receive may be largely a function of the specialist they see. The same child who would be diagnosed with ABD, for example, by an audiologist, may be diagnosed with SLI by a speech language therapist, or vice versa with dyslexia by a psychologist. Well, this pretty much is a real short and brief one about the specific learning disability or what have you. Give me a like for thumbs up for showing that you engage me. Feel free to comment below. Also feel free to follow me on Facebook or Twitter. AspieAnswersAll. Message me if you feel the need or have to as well. Also, basically, if you haven't done so, share the videos around for family and friends, as well as maybe, I don't know, choice is yours. Subscribing to my channel for weekly daily vlogs, even though I humbly apologize, as I said in one of my videos, that I've been away after the week that has been done with my sister's tag at the moment, because I need a bit of time out period with my family, as I did last week, even though I didn't have much time left because of my personal situation and circumstance. So what I'm going to do, guys, do what you love what you do. Until next time, have a great day. I'll see you all again soon.